defensively, how do you prepare for a guard forward tandem like they have?
Well, we've been practicing against the guys this week, and we've told them to attack every chance they get in transition. So it's hard to simulate with our own players, but they help. And Jordan Canada is incredibly talented and gifted, and with the ball in transition, as good as there is in the country.
Are they kind of do you think one of the best 1-2 combinations in the country or something?
With Billings and
Canada.
no doubt, yeah. Those two are special players, and they're going to have long pro careers, and we've got our work cut out for us. But I think we'll be up to the challenge.
Coach, as far as maybe providing a resume style win against UCLA, what's kind of your outlook on what a win could mean against them?
Well, we talked about it as a team, kind of went through the Pac-12 standings, and we talked RPI and those kind of things, what we needed to do. I know some people don't believe in doing that, but I just thought, it's good for these kids to understand what we're shooting for. And so a win against UCLA would go a long way in enhancing, any kind of a postseason resume, no doubt.
What do you make of
test do you think you guys are against ranked teams at this point? If you're trying to actually break through it and beat one again.
Yeah, well, I think, 7 of our losses are to teams ranked in the top 20 or whatever, and 6 of those top 10, 12. We certainly are ready to play. This isn't going to be a huge surprise, the level of talent and athleticism that these teams have, and that's what I told our team yesterday. We talked about postseason, and if we can just get into the field, this league will have tested us, and I think last year's a good example. Washington goes in as the number 5 team out of our conference, and they get to the Final Four. So that's what the benefits of playing in a really strong league. You're battle tested, no doubt.
The weekend in LA was kind of a low point for Maite and her season. Obviously, they probably had something to do with that, but do you feel like she's a different player now, and can she become an X factor for you?
Maite is a different player, and I think the number one reason is that she's healthy, or healthier. At that point, I think that was their second weekend in conference, and I don't know. It was back then. Yeah, she wasn't healthy, and against a team like UCLA, you got to be at 100% because of the pressure that they put on you. But so she's healthier, number one, and number two, she's just being more aggressive. And it was about this time last year that she really kind of turned it up a little bit. So that helps, and we need it. And we're a different team when she plays like that.
You guys were right there with ASU down the stretch, and we're right there with Oregon State. What's it going to take kind of closing those games out against those ranked teams?
Just making plays at the end. We've got to do a better job, and me as a coach and my staff, we've got to do a better job of putting our kids into a better position to win those games. I think defensively we've struggled late, and then just, I think for the most part we're getting the ball to the right people. We just haven't made the play, and that, it's something you kind of learn. You learn how to win games at the end, and the good thing is, the positive thing is that we're in those games and we have a chance. Now we just got to finish it.
You thought the Cal game might have paid a few more dividends in that regard, in terms of being able to pull out maybe 1 or 2 more of these the last few weeks?
That was kind of the ending there, I think, was a little different than these other ones, where we were kind of surprised to be there and had that moment. These have been kind of grinded out games, 3 of our last 4, and maybe, but
They're all different.
well, they are. Yeah, they are.
What do you make of UCLA's last road trip, losing to Cal but then knocking off Stanford?
That's the Pac-12, life in the Pac-12. You never know. I think most people would have figured that UCLA might have beaten Cal and lost at Stanford, but that's why you play the game, and everybody's so talented. And on any given night, there's so many good players that you just never know.
Coach, seems like these ranked Pac-12 teams have figured out that Lexi Bando is a pretty good 3-point shooter. Are you guys going to try to do anything to, free her up a little bit more?
Well, we have tried, but the way I look at it, if they have a player sitting on her, then that gives us a lot more room inside for Ruthie to operate, things like that. So, we have a bunch of quick hitters, just like everybody does for their shooters, and and we run ours, and for whatever reason, she just hasn't been as open as she has been in other parts of the season. But she can still help us in other ways. She's got to continue to defend better, and maybe scrap out some rebounds and those kind of things. So she's not just a shooter, and hopefully this is the week she gets untracked.
Did Morgan take a step last weekend?
Morgan's a really good player, and and I anticipate her getting more time as the season ends. We don't have a ton of playmakers, and she is one that can actually create a shot for herself and for others. And I think that's one of the issues late game. We don't have a ton of playmakers who can just break somebody down, like a Jordan Canada. At any point, she can get a good shot for herself or a teammate. And so Morgan gives us that.
Are you expecting UCLA to make an adjustment on Ruthie, or was she just making tough shots last
Well,
game?
she made some tough shots, but we did, I think, a really good job. Her teammates did a good job of getting her the ball inside where she wanted it. Maybe that was their game plan. I mean, she was really open a lot. Had a good game, no doubt. Finished well, but she was open a lot. And they took away others. So, maybe they adjust. I don't know.
You tell your kids about the Play for K game. You have a lot of youngsters on your roster that have never played in one of these K
Yeah,
games.
we'll address that today after practice and talk about what it means. And this is always a special game, and because it's cancer is something that has touched nearly everybody's life who will come to the game. So it is a special time, and we usually have a speaker come in and talk a little bit about it as well.
On Morgan, do you see her kind of getting more confident too? Is that part of just adjusting from such an unknown to the Pac-12, right?
Yeah, I think she's getting more comfortable with each game. I think where she's got to continue to prove is just in the consistent intensity. She's definitely skill-wise there, and is getting better. And the more time she sees on the floor, the more comfortable she'll be. But my anticipation is she's going to play more down the stretch. We need her.